It's Sunday morning, and every decent man and woman is listening to Test Miles with Nick Miles on FM News 101 KXL. Buckle in.
Sunday morning, time to talk cars for the next 60 minutes on your weekly automotive experience. I'm Nick Miles, and you're listening to America's Automotive Radio Show, Test Miles. Locally created, nationally celebrated, we've assembled a team of car freaks at Test Miles, and this part of the show is where we like to test their knowledge of what happened in the automotive world by playing the news quiz. But first of all, let's introduce the team. This morning, we have our intern, Jenya, Sean Walker, car and cat lover, Oli, the Viking Volvo seller, and the daddy of the show, Brad Boyer. How are you, Brad?
I'm good. A little saddened these days. NPR Car Talk guru Tom Magliosi passed away this last week at age 77. Kind of was the benchmark for a lot of what we do, although theirs was more entertainment. Hopefully ours is more entertaining. But his Boston accent, I'd met him a few times over the years on press launches, but a little sad.
Does it make you sort of feel more mortal?
Well, I eat better for a day or two, and then I figured I'll go back to normal.
Back to the cheese sticks. All right, with the rest of the team, you had a good week?
Yep, it was a good week.
Yeah, and we didn't do anything spectacular this weekend. I spent a week sick at home.
Well, the weather yesterday was awesome for car people, though.
To get out and get your top down on the slightly sunny day.
Or whatever you want to do.
I just went and watched movies.
See, we did very little car stuff. We're all ramping up for the LA Auto Show. And by the way, next week's show we'll have some special guests in to talk about what cars we can expect to see at the LA Auto Show. All right, time for that news quiz. Here are the questions. Teams, ready your buzzers and see how much you know about the automotive world. Who is offering a gift card to get your cars in for the recalls? Sean.
That would be General Motors, because they've had almost 17 deaths because of their recalls, so now they're trying to encourage people to come get their car fixed by offering them a $25 gift card to wherever they'd like, Starbucks, Walmart, Amazon.
I would say they've had allegedly 17 deaths.
Allegedly, yes.
17 deaths.
My whole thing is because they're saying that people are waiting, but it's like I've been trying to get my recall done for the last 3 months, and I can't get the part. So it's kind of, they might need to get the parts out there so they can get the recalls done a little faster.
Exactly, and this is probably most of the problems. All right, which two car manufacturers are working together to make a mid-sized sports car? Holy.
Hello, I believe is that BMW and Toyota? They were talking a while back. They came together actually in late 2011 and collaborated, signed something that said they were going to work together on a number of cars. One of them being the mid-sized sports car platform, which for BMW will become the new Z4. There's kind of some talk it's going to be called a Z5. And for Toyota, that will be the upcoming Supra. And I think the dates is it 2017? I think these are kind of projected to come out.
Surely, I've seen some of the pictures. They look amazing. And yes, they are working. Of course, Toyota's doing a lot of collaboration. They've been working very closely with Tesla, or they did just unload their Tesla shares. They also worked with Subaru on the BRZ and the TRS. So that was one of the cars that they worked on.
And already on this platform kind of collaboration, Toyota's had a lot of those the FT1, kind of that sports car. They've had a lot of prototypes out about that.
Absolutely. Okay, on to the news quiz. Who vowed to raise fuel economy 25% by 2020?
I got that.
Brad.
My buzzer's going crazy. So it's Korean manufacturers, Hyundai and Kia, plan to do that, and they figure by the end of 2020 they want to be the world leader in mileage. This comes a little bit on the heels of a big fine that they got for cars not getting up to the mileage that they promised. I mean, it was a $100 million fine. A lot of that had to do with emissions more so than the mileage, but it's all kind of lumped together.
Yeah, and they do work very hard on fuel economy, but at the price of gas at $3 a gallon, it doesn't seem to be as important as it was a year ago or so. Zach Milajovic built what iconic car to help sick children? Sean.
He built the Batmobile from the Michael Keaton Batman.
And that's the best one.
That is the best one because it looks the meanest and looks like a Batmobile and not a tank or anything.
It looks cool.
But the cool thing is like he actually took and got original parts from the movie to make this. It's street legal, and people have offered him quite a some money for it, obviously, because it has some of the original parts, and he won't sell it. He's dressing up as Batman and helping out the Make-A-Wish by going to sick kids dressed up as their favorite superhero.
I think you have to have the right physical body to dress as Batman.
Agreed.
I'm too short. I might make a Hobbit Robin, but not necessarily a Batman.
Isn't Jeff Dunham the comedian? Doesn't he have the actual one from the movie?
I don't know who actually has the original one, but I mean it's still cool.
You need to find out before the end of the show. Kelly Blue Book said, which manufacturer could be the poster child for automotive industry recovery? Brad.
That's mine. Oh, hello. Oh, yeah. No, that is Chrysler, which has made a dramatic recovery since 2009. And a lot of that fueled by its Jeep lineup, which is fantastic.
And now Dodge, too.
And Dodge. And Ram, I mean, everything is phenomenal. So
in fact, just Chrysler themselves and Fiat are the ones that probably need some work. Yeah, well done. All right, who announced at SEMA that they would get into a new Global Cup race series? Oli.
Mazda came out, which if you follow any racing, at least local racing, Mazda's obviously very big, and they're going to move forward with their new Miata coming out in 2016 and have a global version. This will be U.S., Europe, and Asia, and they'll all race, and they'll come together for a final race in Laguna Seca is the way it sounds, and I think it sounds incredible so far. And nothing's released as far as tracks and other information, but that's kind of where things are at.
Interesting, with Dodge are getting out of the racing, Mazda are getting back into the racing. Last question this morning. Who's turning streetlights into electric car charging stations? Got to be Zhenya.
What is this, Disney?
No. BMW has created a light and charge streetlight system, which has LED lights for street light, and combines their Charge Now electric charging system, and it's supposed to work for BMWs. I think they're only going to do it for BMWs. I don't think anyone else is going to be able to use it.
It's a great idea, though. There's streetlights everywhere. I mean, if you could plug your car right into them, it makes a lot of sense. But
for city use.
You've got it, yes, for city use. Of course, in the country where Zhenya lives, there is no streetlights. So
I saw a nice i3 parked up at Portland State on the, what do we call that, Electric Avenue.
Yeah.
It looked really good up there, mixed in with all the Nissan Leafs and everything
I'm
else.
a bit more of an i8 fan, though. All right, coming up in the show this morning, we're going to talk to Owen Peacock next. He is the marketing guy from Lexus. He'll tell us about the new RCF, and also Ron Hughley's going to be here from the World of Speed. He's the curator of the World of Speed collection, and he's going to tell us about some of the cars in that collection. It's Sunday morning. You're listening to FM News 101 KXL, and I'm Nick Miles on Test Miles.
Test Miles, like NASCAR, but with one right turn. TestMiles.com.
Now, if you're unfamiliar with our Project Discovery, we have created a SEMA-style car. We're taking a 2002 Land Rover Discovery, and we are making it into a bastion of luxury dog transportation. If you want to get involved, contact us through Facebook at TestMiles. And we have a fun fact you can impress your friends with. In 2008, a crystallized version of the iconic Rolls-Royce hood ornament called the Spirit of Ecstasy was offered at an asking price, just a mere $200,000. Price of about 5 or 6 different cars. Or you could have the hood ornament instead. Now, Lexus is a global luxury brand owned by the Toyota Motor Corporation. It sold its first car in the United States in 1989. About 70 nations are part of the Lexus target market. It's one of the most influential Japanese brands in any sector. So with Lexus offering a new model, everybody perks up their ears and listens. The latest car to be rolled out is the Lexus RC and RCF. Joining us on the phone is the Lexus National Product and Marketing Manager, Owen Peacock. Owen, the RC and RCF have made a combination of this brand to really come out swinging. Everybody's talking about these cars. How many different versions, Owen, are there of the car?
Well, good morning, Nick. Basically, there's two different versions of the car. You've got the RC and RCF, as you mentioned, and then along with the RC, you can get our F Sport package, which, of course, brings you some higher performance level to the RC itself. When it comes to the RCF, however, I mean, that thing out of the box is built for performance. So we do have one upgrade package for that. It's called the Performance Package. That'll give you a carbon fiber roof, a carbon fiber speed-activated wing, and then our new torque vectoring differential to help you go around the corners even more smoothly and quicker.
So let me get this clear. What is the difference in the lineup between the F and the F Sport?
Basically, the F, you could say the bulk of it is going to be the powertrain. So when you step up from the RC into the RCF, you're going to be moving up into a V8-powered vehicle that's going to be cranking out 467 horsepower. Now, the RC is going to come standard with a V6, putting out about 306 horsepower. Now,
we have heard this words used by Lexus, and they're calling the exterior of this car a spirited design. Explain to me why you think it's spirited, because it is a very bold design. Lexus have been somewhat subdued in the past, but this is quite a bold car. And so what is spirited about the design?
Well, I think even from the moment you look at it, the word striking really comes to mind. Of course, we've got now our signature spindle grille, which hopefully everyone out there is starting to see really come across all of our models. All of them have gotten an update to incorporate the spindle grille. But it's not just the grille. I think when you start to look at the body lines through the interior even, and then even to the exterior, it's just so neat to see the emotion being put into the cars these days. And really that's what Lexus is bringing with F Sport, with F, and our all-whole performance coupe that we're just so excited to bring. I know there's a lot of anticipation out there, as you mentioned in the opening, and a lot of people have been waiting a long time for us to come back to the coupe market. And really these cars, these aren't four-door sedans that have been modified into a two-door coupe. These really are built from the asphalt up to be performance coupe, and the coupe enthusiasts, we think, are really going to appreciate and love the cars.
Now, Lexus have worked on the sound of this. Many car companies have got a signature exhaust sound, Ferrari naming one, Fiat with their Abarth. It took them 16 different exhausts to come up with the sound that they wanted. So how is this sound significant and different for Lexus?
Well, I think, right out of the gate, it's a V8, and it's just unlike anything else out there. I mean, some of the competitors are not using V8s these days, but for us and the engineers, we just thought that the V8 was the proper powertrain. So once we got that fantastic 5-liter V8, then they just really work on the tuning, and really there's the thrill of acceleration. You can feel the G's. You can feel yourself get pushed back into the seat. But to really help bring that emotional tie to the car out, we really think you need a unique, beautiful, low growling sound, and that's what that V8 delivers in the RCF.
No, it is an amazing sound. I love the idea that this car can take you from the zero to the hero in no time at all. I love driving sports cars on the track, but I'm not a great track driver. And when you stuck me in this car in New Orleans at the New Orleans Motorsports Park, I was able to get around this course driving like a maniac, and the car is very forgiving, isn't it?
It is, and I think the key phrase here, the key idea is accessibility. We didn't just build a car and say, hey, this is a great car. I hope you can drive it quickly and drive it fast with confidence. It's really built around the driver of any skill level. So whether you're a novice or whether you are, a gearhead who's out on the track on the weekends with his local club or even on his own, it really makes it so no matter what your skill level is, that accessibility to performance is there. It gives you confidence. And just like you felt, I mean, no matter who you are, when you get out of the car, you felt like, wow, I really drove well today. And that's a testament to how well this car has been designed.
No, absolutely. I think even Sean could probably manage it around the track at speed as well. Let's talk about price and availability. Owen, when are we going to see this in dealerships, and how much is it going to sting me in the pocketbook?
Well, I have good news, and then I have good news. So the car's on sale right now. We literally just went on sale within the last few days here, so both RC and RCF are available at Lexus dealerships. Of course, the supply is coming in, so you may have a little bit of a wait as our logistics services get the cars into the dealers' hands. But really, when it comes to pricing, I mean, that's part of the really, really great story of these two cars. it wasn't about let's price it out of reach of everybody and hopefully it's just all aspiration. I mean, it's all about attainability. So you've got the RC will start at $42,790, and then the RCF will start at $62,400.
That's not a bad price for such an incredible sports car. LA Auto Show coming up in just over a week. You got something at LA that we can be ready to see?
Yeah, we do. We do have a fun little treat for everyone to feast their eyes on, and can't spill too much of the good news, but I'll just tell everyone, stay tuned. Again, it's more emotion, more passion, and we think what you're about to see will just pique your interest even more.
All right, maybe we'll get some time to see each other at the LA Auto Show. Owen Peacock, thank you so much for coming on the show and telling us about the new Lexus RCF. And, of course, you can go to Lexus.com if you want to know more. Have yourself a good Sunday, sir.
You too, Nick. Thank you so much.
When we come back this morning's show, we'll talk about a collection of cars that's just a few minutes down the freeway on I-5, and it'll be open to the public in 2015. It is the World of Speed Museum. Ron Hughley is going to be here, who's the creator of that collection, and he'll be sharing us some gems in the world of speed. That's coming up on Test Miles on FM News 101 KXL. I'm Nick Miles.
Favorite us, tweet us, friend us, love us, all at TestMiles.com.
Sunday morning, this is Test Miles, Portland's automotive radio show at TestMiles.com. Try following us on Facebook. Here's a fun fact to impress your friends with. In 1895, the first motor offense in the UK was a 5-shilling fine because a driver didn't have a driver's license. Brad, what were you thinking?
I had a date, and I don't know what a shilling is.
Oh, poor Brad. We always tease him with the old man joke. So located in Wilsonville, Oregon, the World of Speed will be a new kind of educational experience. It's a motorsport exposition using historical race cars and motorcycles to tell the story of America's love affair with the automobile and a leadership role in the world's motorsports. It will encompass many aspects of motorsports, including drag racing, road racing, land speed racing, motorcycle racing, and as well as open wheel and NASCAR. Where possible, they'll tell the story of tracks including the Jansen Beach track, the Portland International Raceway, and local racers, including people who have built race cars from around the country but came from right here in the Northwest. Ron Hughley is a curator of the World of Speed. He's a man who has personally rebuilt many cars. In fact, I go so far as to say he's a man who likes to get his hands on more engines than most. Ron, welcome to Test Miles. Out of all of the cars that you've collected at the World of Speed, what one makes your pulse race?
Well, I think right now that would have to be the Markley Bruins Top Fuel car. That's the one we just finished restoring.
And how much of that restoration are you doing yourself? Because I know I've sat back and watched you work down there, and you're absolutely a hands-on guy. You know when a job's done right and when it isn't done right. So how many of those cars have you actually got your hands dirty with?
Well, I kind of like to think of myself like a general contractor. I send a lot of things out to other fab shops, paint shops, and so forth. And then myself and my friend Scott, who also works with us, Scott Davis, he and I are the ones that do the final assembly. I procure the parts through the restoration process, do the research on the cars. Some cars I find, some other cars are brought to us or are brought to our attention. But that Markley Bruins car, that's a pretty special car. That's a 1979 Winston Top Fuel World Championship car. It's the only professional category car to win a Winston Championship or a NHRA World Championship without winning a national event in the year that it won it.
So it's kind of an oxymoron. The car. A lot of times the national event comes with the win.
Well, you get right now in NHRA they have 23 national events, and the points accumulated throughout the series, and then the countdown or chase or whatever they have now to emulate NASCAR that determines who the champion is. But back then, they divided it up. You have 7 divisions within the United States, and you could collect points on the divisional level. And then there were, in 1979, I think there were 7 national events at that period. and you could also get points at those. And then at the end of the year at the World Finals, they crowned the champion.
So tell me a little bit about what it takes to restore a car. When you get a car in, how much work you're doing. And I'm sure it goes the gamut. You get cars that are in perfect condition that roll off the trailer and you're like, can't touch this. And then you get cars like you have to do a lot of work with.
Yeah, you basically look at it on a case-by-case basis. You obviously are dollars ahead if you find a car that's already done. But some cars, you have to work on them. And so we kind of prioritized. We had a pretty good collection of cars that needed to have some work done. And we thought, well, these are the ones we would like to see for day one of the museum. And right now, we've got a car that we're heavily into the middle of the restoration process, a pretty neat dragster as well that came out of the Seattle area. And, excuse me, the hardest part is finding pictures of these older cars.
So you know how they looked when they were at their pristine moments?
Yeah, all of us there, we really pride ourselves on doing accurate restorations. They need to be spot on because you would be amazed the people out there that see things and they go, that doesn't look quite right. And there's always those that think they know what it looks like, but we try to make them look right. And so there's a lot of research that goes in.
So what does your day-to-day involve down at the World of Speed?
Listening to Tony.
Tony's the executive director, so Tony telling you what you need to do.
Yeah, Tony Thacker, he's our executive director, and he was probably the one that got that 5-shilling fine. And he would be, because he's a little bit older than Brad, I believe. Basically day-to-day, we come in, check emails, and kind of get a look of, I kind of have an idea of what I need to be doing during that day. It's not all just the cars. There's exhibits that have to be built, have to be, laid out and figured out how we want to do that.
So it's designing what the space is going to look like inside the museum and how to put it together.
Correct, yeah. Excuse me. Working with Tony, we try and come up with a really cohesive game plan that makes the museum stand out.
Brad, you had a question?
Yeah, Nick and I have gone, over a year now since the start of this, and it's been kind of fun to see every few weeks we go by and there'd be new vehicles and all this stuff. And so how many total vehicles do you think we'll end up with when this opens up? Now, when's it? I think we have an official opening date.
April 24th,
Yes.
Okay.
2015.
Yeah, April
166 days from today.
Exactly.
Thanks, Nick. We're shooting somewhere between 70 and 100 cars and motorcycles for the museum. Within the museum, I mean, and not all of those are the museums. A good portion of those hopefully will be on loan. I've got about 20 cars lined up to be on loan, and there's some pretty significant cars. I wish I could say what a couple of them are, but I can't. Not right now.
When you purchase a car that you think you're getting and you bring it in to the warehouse to have a look at it, have you ever got some amazing surprises, and hopefully good surprises, where you found things in this car, or you found things out about the car that you didn't know when you originally got it, or is it all pretty much laid out when you bring a car in?
Yeah, I've had a couple of cars that have come in that we just thought, well, we purchased a large number of vintage drag parts. The opportunity became available to us, and through that collection, there were a couple of cars that were in there that were, chassis and bits and pieces here and there. And through research, we find out this is, and the Norton Osgood car that we're working on right now is one of those cars. It went 188.62 miles an hour in 1961 during the fuel ban up at Seattle. The NHRA had said no nitromethane, and up at Seattle they said, we'll still run nitro as well as Bakersfield. and the wild thing about this is he went almost 200 miles an hour, and the car didn't have a floorboard in it. It just had two pads, one for his left foot and one for his right foot.
Oh, frightening. I don't think I want to see the road go by at 188.62 miles an hour.
We're wussies, aren't we, now?
No, I'm really excited about that one, and that's probably my next one I'm kind of geeked on, and I can't wait to drive that car.
Yeah, I just have to reflect. On one side, we talked to someone like Owen Peacock from Lexus, where this car is like, it's a solid shell, it's got all the latest engineering. You could be almost the worst driver, and the car will hit the apex on the corner. And these guys who are driving cars that you make one tiny mistake and you're a big ball of smoke, right?
Well, yeah, and that's part of the purpose of this museum, and that is to educate people on what I like to call the golden era of motorsports, basically post-war to the early 80s. And during that time, the drivers, they were real men and women. They didn't have all of the luxuries that a lot of the current drivers have. They had to hit their apex. They had to make the shift at the right point. They, like in our midget, the midget cars that we have, 38 and a 47, there's only a lap belt. And these gentlemen, they're sticking above the bodywork. And they killed a number of these racers during that period. It's incredible. And being in my job, talking to some of the veteran drivers, these old drivers, they said, we didn't know any better. We just wanted to go out and go racing.
It wasn't anything different. Couple more questions for you. We're running out of time in this segment of the show, but tell me a little bit about some of the cars. Give us a teaser of some of the cars that will be shown in the museum that you can tell us about now, just to get people's appetite a little wet.
Well, and like I spoke about, we have Gordy Youngstrom's midget, the 1938 Richter, the Eddie Kuzma car, which is a 1947 midget. We have, for you NASCAR fans, some of you might have seen it on the website, up on the Facebook or on like hotrod.com. We built that 31-degree angled wall, which is the banking for the corners at Daytona. We have on pole position Jim Vandiver's 74 Charger. Outside pole is Cale Yarborough's 78 to 80 Oldsmobile 442. In third position would be Terry Labonte's 88 Monte Carlo Aero Coupe. And then at the top in fourth position is Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s 2000 rookie car. And that rookie car is kind of significant in that qualified on the pole at the Michigan 400. And that is the only race where all three Earnhardts, Dale Sr., Dale Jr., and his brother Kerry, they all qualified for that race. We've got a good collection of muscle cars that basically kind of run the gamut of early muscle stuff from the early 60s, Z11 Impala, 63 to Z11, 63 Dodge Max Wedge Stage 2 car, up to, the 71 Hemi 4-speed CUDA, a one-of-one car, and then 70 LS6 454 450 horse 4-speed car. For you Chevrolet guys, CUDA's cooler, in my opinion, but
right.
my guys like the Chevelle.
Right. Well, you need to follow World of Speed at Facebook. You can get all the updates of what's happening, or go register for the newsletter online at worldofspeed.org. You can get all the information at the website or on the Facebook. Ron, thank you so much for coming in. I think you got everyone really excited and ready to go for the April 2015 when the museum's going to open.
Well, thanks for having me on. Hopefully I can come back when I can make some announcements of some really cool cars.
Absolutely. We'll have you back every week. We like it that much. You're listening to Test Miles and FM News 101 KXL. Back with what we've been driving this week next. I'm Nick Miles.
Test Miles, like NASCAR, but with one right turn. TestMiles.com.
It's Sunday morning, and this is Test Miles, Portland's Automotive Radio Show, TestMiles.com. Try following us on Twitter at TESTMILES. Here's a fun fact for you can impress your friends with. The largest speeding fine was set at $1 million. It was a Swedish man doing 180 miles an hour in Switzerland. That was an expensive day. All right, time to talk about what we've been driving this week. I have been driving the Alfa Romeo 4C. Now, Alfa Romeo, Alfa is a Italian luxury car manufacturer found as ALFA in Italy in 1910. In Milan, to be exact. The company has been involved in auto racing since 1911. Now, between 32 and 86, it became part of the Fiat Group. Back to Fiat in February 2007, Alfa Romeo brand was transformed into a current Alfa Romeo racing car company, especially with their 4C. They left the United States originally in 1995 due to poor sales, and they returned this year with the 4C being shown at the New York International Auto Show and hitting press fleets this summer. I had our Alfa Romeo 4C for a few days and got to experience one of the most fun drives of 2014. This two-seater, two-door, mid-engine Italian sports car whacks some big punch. Amazing central styling, sharp handling, and rocket-fast acceleration. You can get into a Porsche Cayman for about the same price, but the Alfa Romeo 4C is very different from that. The 4C has a 1.8-liter four-cylinder engine putting out 240 horsepower. Now, because it's so light, it will go like crazy. The body's made of carbon fiber. It has a 6-speed dual-clutch auto manual transmission, rear-wheel drive, 24 in the city, 34 miles a gallon on the highway. Alfa Romeo 4 competes with the Corvette, with Jaguar's F-Type, with Porsche Boxster Cayman, and also you can get onto the track package with it or get onto the leather package with it if you want to enhance the trim levels. The launch edition starts at $68,000. Alfa tells us that they'll see a base model coming to market for around $50,000, but so far haven't seen it. To me, a very spirited drive. On the other end of the scale, been driving the Mini Cooper S. This is an economy car made by British corporation BMC originally. It is a successful car, started in 1959, went until 2000. The original car was considered to be an icon of the 60s. Its space-saving front-wheel drive layout allowed 80% of the area of the car floor pan to be used by passengers and their luggage. It influenced a generation in the 1960s. It came back towards the beginning of this century. In 1999, Mini was voted the second most influential car of the 20th century behind the Ford Model T. On the other end of the scale, this car is a three-door, four-seater. It's a hatchback. Love the fact that it gets lots of power from a little turbocharged 4C or three-cylinder engine. This year, it's much improved in interior elements, large capacity, and as always, very customizable. Two engines are available, 30 miles a gallon, 42 on the highway, 30 in the city. A three-cylinder that gets 28 and 40, and the four-cylinder. It competes against the Honda Fit, the VW Golf, the Kia Rio, and the Ford Fiesta, the Chevy Sonic, and the Nissan Note or Versa. It comes in lots of different colors, especially British Racing Green, the one I've been having. Starts at $21,700, but if you customize this vehicle, you can get it up to $40,000, quite simply. All right, who else has got stuff? Bradley?
I do now. So you guys have been driving all these great cars, but I've been involved in either delivering or driving, writing about cars since 1980. You joke about my age, but do the math.
Most of us in this room weren't born by 1980.
That's almost 35 years. So, I feel like the old guy saying, hey, you kids today have no idea what it's really like to review a bad car. So, everything today is really fantastic, short of maybe the Mitsubishi MIEV or that Jeep Patriot that I disliked so much.
Right.
But, so in my, I compiled a list, but I'll only do 5. So the
5 worst cars in history.
5 worst cars over the past 35 years, and I've actually driven all of these, sadly. And some dishonorable mentions start with like the 2002 BMW 7 Series. They kind of had a bulbous rear end that maybe only a Kardashian lover could appreciate, but it's had the iDrive system that was either ahead of its time or, I don't know, it was bad. But then the Subaru Baja. But my 5 are the Fisker Karma, only because it was the most overhyped, under-deliver car. The number 4 is the Yugo, which is nothing needs more to be said. The Plymouth Prowler, which had only 250 horsepower for a car that was supposed to be a hot rod. The Pontiac Aztek, Walter White from from Breaking Bad couldn't even save that car. But the number 1 is the Cadillac Cimarron, which in the mid-'80s, Cadillac people put out the Cavalier and tried to sell it as a Cadillac for $12,000.
I get it. All right, Oli, quickly, deal of the week.
The deal of the week this week is brought to you from Speed Sports. Head on down to McLaughlin, and you can find a 2005 Ford Excursion Limited. This is the last year of it. It's a Power Stroke diesel for $22,900. Right. Sits well, 35.
We're out of time, so go to speedsport.com to check it out. This is Test Miles.